You're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. Here's your host, Jack Myers and Gerald Hoover.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. He's Jack Myers. I'm Gerald Hoover. How you doing this morning, Jack?
I'm doing good.
Good. Glad to have you on the show. We're glad you're listening out there in the audience today. This is Season 3, Episode 16. We're at Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. And we're just rolling along here through the sports season, the winter sports season here at Shalom Christian Academy, and just kind of hit a little bit of hiccups here the last couple of weeks with weather delays and coldness, and it sure is cold out there. Do you like this cold weather, Jack?
Well, I like it when it's maybe 30s, 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe but I don't like it when it's like in the negatives.
When you get that little minus sign beside the temperature, you know it's cold, and that's never any fun. But
and then it's like you go outside to start your car, start my dad's truck. It's like, ooh, it's cold.
So he makes you go out and do that for
him?
Yeah, I remember that when my dad used to make me do that. My dad and mom, they'd be like, hey, go out and start the car. Of course, when you're younger, you think it's kind of cool because you can't drive yet, and you're like, oh, I get to start a car.
Then my dad's is the one that you hold the button and then hit the brake. So that one's cooler than my mom's, which is the key.
Oh, yeah.
So I like doing my dad's more than my mom's.
All right.
Yeah.
You need to talk them into remote start. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool feature. So, that's nice that you do that. And that's what you have to do these days, get those cars warmed up so you're not freezing when you crawl in them to head off to wherever you're going. But we have a great episode this week. We're going to recap what's happened in the past week here in Shalom Sports and talk about what's coming up here in the next week. And there's some exciting things coming up, and we're excited to tell you about those. Getting started off here with wrestling, Jack. I know Shippensburg, Shalom has a co-op with Shippensburg High School. We have a couple boys and girls that wrestle on the Shippensburg team here from Shalom. They had 3 matches this past week against Waynesboro, Red Lion, and Chambersburg last night. Didn't see many results. Did see the results from last night, Jack. Chambersburg for the girls' side, Shippensburg beat Chambersburg, and on the boys' side, it looks like Chambersburg beat Shippensburg. So. I know Mr. Roseman was going to that, and he's going to take in his first wrestling match. So I was hoping to go. It didn't work out for me to go.
I think I saw a Waynesboro Chambersburg one before when I was probably 10.
Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I don't.
But it didn't pique your interest in wrestling?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the Rocky movies, and then now I want to box.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm.
They do hype up boxing,
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do hype up boxing.
I know it's a good fitness thing, too.
Yeah, it
Keeps
is.
you in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like upcoming for our Shippensburg wrestlers, looks like the boys, they're at the Canner Duels this weekend at Biglerville. That would be Saturday, January 25th. And then, Jack, I was looking at the schedule. It didn't look like much was on the regular season schedule for wrestling after that. But checking out the District 3 website, looked like they have something called sectionals coming up like mid-February. So that may probably kind of like their postseason play. And so I think wrestling's a little bit like some of the like cross country, where it can be you can qualify as individual or teams.
Team.
So best of luck to our wrestlers as they head into the postseason play. I did see that the Shippensburg boys, they're ranked 41st in District 3 AAA ranking, so they're kind of down towards the bottom. But, it happens sometimes. But
maybe it's out of 100, so 40.
There was a lot of schools.
Yeah. So
I know they were in the bottom third. They weren't clear at the bottom, but there was a lot of schools listed.
Yeah.
When we look at the power rankings for Shalom schools in the single A and double A, you only see maybe at the most 20 teams, but when you get into these larger divisions,
wrestling and stuff,
and basketball and some of those, like Quad A, 6A, 5A, there's a ton of teams in there. But obviously, the nice thing about that is the more teams from those divisions qualify for the postseason.
Yeah. Another thing I'm wondering is how Maryland does it. How if it's different or if it's the same.
I think every state does it differently. I mean, there may be some similarities here and there, but I know each state does it differently.
And I know Maryland has a shot clock for their varsity teams.
For basketball.
Do you think we should put a shot clock?
I'm kind of back and forth on it. I kind of like the idea. I think there's times where teams will dribble out at the end of a quarter or the end of a half.
A minute left.
Yeah, it's the coach says one shot, and you look at the clock, and there's 40 seconds on it. This is kind of boring. But, and I've actually seen it where the defensive team won't even come out and challenge. And so the guys just dribble in there, just past midcourt, just dribble. And I'm That's kind of when I wish there was a shot clock.
In the NBA, like when you roll the ball out, and there's like the weird thing when the other team just scores, you can like roll the ball out and the clock's still running, and then you don't have to touch it because the shot clock doesn't start till you touch the ball.
Okay.
So I've seen people get like 20 seconds off the clock if they're up by like, but I don't even know what the point is if there's like 11 minutes in the fourth quarter.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Seems kind of pointless. But part of me would like to see it. I know it's another position at the scorer's table to have somebody running the shot clock and resetting it every time.
I would like to do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. And I know you even see it at the college level sometimes where there's the shot clock, the refs will have to stop the game because the clock or the shot clock isn't set right, and that kind of ruins the flow of the game.
Yeah, it's another position to learn, like running that, because there's probably different rules. Like if it hits the rim and they get the rebound, like what happens but it doesn't hit the rim and they get the rebound, then it doesn't reset. Yeah. Like stuff like that.
Yeah, if they miss a shot but it hits the rim, the shot
there's
clock
20
resets.
seconds on, not 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's different than if they make a shot, then it resets, but because there's change of possession. But yeah, all those kind of things factor in, but I think the guy who's running a shot clock at the score table, they got to really be
they got
attention.
On their heels,
Yeah, that's right. So that would be another position that, we'd have to fill, and I know it's not always easy to even get scoreboard operators at the table. So, like I said, I'm kind of back and forth. I think it'd be kind of cool to see it, but what do you think? You think you would like it?
I think I would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know it would definitely speed up like the offensive tempo of teams because they couldn't just work the ball around. They always have to be keeping.
I think that would work out well for the Shalom team. Yeah.
Yeah. When you depending on the team too. Yeah. Typically it favors those teams that just like to get shoot.
Yeah. Get running.
Quick to begin with, and not have to work the ball around. But you never know. I don't know if they've ever had that conversation in Pennsylvania or not about a shot clock. If that's something, I'm sure it's something they discuss every now and then. But it'd be interesting to poll each state and see how many have it and how many don't. But
we could probably look that up.
We probably could on that their internet. You like that their internet? So that's kind of the wrap up on wrestling. So now we're going to turn our attention to basketball, Jack, and we'll start with our middle school girls team. They're having a pretty good year. They're 7-4 overall, 4-1 in the MDC, which currently places them in second place in the conference play. On a 3-game winning streak, Jack. So that's pretty exciting. And they had one game since our last podcast. And what happened in that game?
They beat Grace Academy 46-4.
Ooh, ouch! That was not really a nail biter there, but that's how it goes sometimes. Each program has its ups and downs, and sometimes you just have a bad day. And our girls had a good day last Friday versus Grace, but that's just the way it goes. And so only one game since our last podcast, but it looks like a pretty full slate coming up this week, Jack. I think that's going to be the theme for most of our teams. So for our middle school girls, what do they have coming up?
So this Friday, they play home versus CVCS at 3:30. On December 3rd, they beat them 34-18. And then for Flames Frenzy, they play at 11 o'clock on Saturday. And then Monday, they play home versus Phantom Metal at 5:30.
Yeah, so the nice thing about all three of those games are all three going to be at home for our middle school girls, so there's no traveling here in the next week. And the second rematch there against CVCS, and like you mentioned, Jack, Flames Frenzy on Saturday. That would be January 25th. So that's going to be an exciting day here of basketball at Shalom, and hope you can make it out for that because it's always such a fun day.
11 o'clock seems kind of early.
Yeah, I think I saw there are, I believe, 7 basketball games on Saturday.
Whoa.
So
I think our game's later than that.
Yeah.
There might be a JV girls game in between.
Yeah, I think there's a middle school B game at some point, or a middle school boys B game. I think.
Is there a JV girls game?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just know there's 7 games, so I would think they're probably. I don't know. We'll have to check on that. So. Congratulations to our girls. They're playing well right now and got 3 home games coming up. Now for our middle school boys team, 5-6 on the season, 3-3 in the MDCC. Currently has you guys are tied for 3rd place in conference play with Faith Christian, Jack, and no, it's not a little bit of a different season for you guys. You're not winning quite as much, but you've played some tough competition.
Yeah. And definitely a lot of more out of the league teams.
And one league game that was just this past Saturday or Friday actually. What happened in that game?
Oh, we lost versus Grace Academy 31-40. It seems like it was like the Grace Academy girls, like our girls destroyed them. Yeah. But then we lost.
You lost by 9, which you guys were shorthanded. And
shorthanded, yeah.
You were missing Jacob Adams and Beckett Martin, which are two key pieces to your team. But, you suffered I think it was like a 20-point loss the last time you played them.
So it's better
down
than
at Gray. So you guys improved, and I thought you guys played really well. You played really good team fundamental ball. I just was enjoying watching because I commentated that game and was just very impressed and proud of how you guys really stepped up your game against a tough Grace Academy team. So that was good to see. And so you guys have 2 games coming up here in the next week. Tell the audience about those games.
So we play home versus CVCS 4:30. On December 3rd, we beat CVCS 39-23, and then on Flames Frenzy, we play Southern Fulton at 1:15.
Yeah, so you guys are on Flames Frenzy there at 1:15 against Southern Fulton, and I think we were talking about Flames Frenzy. I think all 7 games are going to be played against Southern Fulton that day. So again, on Saturday, January 25th, hope you can make it out here to Shalom for some exciting basketball games. And then, you guys were supposed to play this past Tuesday, but that got canceled or postponed. Yeah, so. We'll find out when that's going to be rescheduled down at Faith Christian Academy for the middle school boys team and I think girls team as well. So you're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Jurl, and we're here talking about what's happening and getting you caught up in the sports world here at Shalom. So we're going to turn our attention to the varsity programs now, Jack. Starting with varsity girls, 10-2 on the season, currently on a 6-game winning streak, which has them in second place in the PIAA power rankings for AAA. They had 2 games since our last podcast, and what happened in those games?
The Thursday, January 16th, they beat West Shore Christian 34-29, and then they beat Camp Hill 39-26.
Yeah, that was a big win down at Camp Hill. So at that time, Shalom was in second place. Camp Hill was actually in third place in the AA District 3 power rankings, and Shalom able to travel down there to Camp Hill.
Pretty good win, too.
And get a solid win. I think it was just a 1-point game. It was really close at halftime anyways, and Shalom really came away in the second half and pulled away. In fact, I was talking to Coach Lehman yesterday morning. He said that Camp Hill actually hit a 3 coming out to start the second half that actually put them up a couple points. But then Addison Adams answered at the other end, and we pretty much shut them out after that. And I think, I'm not totally convinced, but I think we held them to like 9 or 10 points for the whole second half. So the Shalom girls really came up with a strong defensive effort there against Camp Hill in the second half, which was pretty exciting to see. So 3 games coming up, Jack, before our next podcast for the varsity girls. What's going to happen in those games?
They play home versus CVCS on Friday at 6:45, and then they play Southern Fulton on Saturday at 3:30, and then home versus Phantom Metal at 6:45 on Monday.
Yeah, so kind of like the middle school girls, 3 games coming up, so a busy week ahead of them, but all 3 games at home, which is really exciting that they don't have to travel. So when you play basketball, do you like to travel or you like to play at home? Or it doesn't matter? You just say, I'll just play whenever and wherever.
I don't like to travel, I would say.
You don't like to travel?
Over 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you like to travel, just not really far. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because once you travel too much, you kind of get lethargic, and it's really hard to get into the flow.
Yeah.
After being like road weary and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
You've had a couple games where you've had to travel that far.
Yeah, I remember we had to travel up to Greenwood. That was rough.
Too long.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Some exciting things for the varsity girls team. Last week we had talked about the public opinion female athlete of the week, and we were voting for Addison Adams. She ended up winning that poll and was named the public opinion girls athlete of the week. And then this week, Jack, Maya Lehman was nominated, so we got a chance to vote for her, and I'm pretty sure the polls have closed now, and she pretty much blew that competition away. She was way ahead, so we've had back-to-back weeks here where
do you get like a little plaque or something?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah. This is the first time I think we've been able to win the award. I know we had a couple other girls earlier in the season be nominated, but they weren't able to get the most votes, but yeah, we'll have to check up on that and let everybody know. Maybe it's a scholarship. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll have to
cool.
see. Yeah. So that's the wrap up for the varsity girls. Now for our varsity boys program, they're 9-5 on the season. Currently ranked 7th place in the District 3 power rankings for Single A. They only had 1 game, Jack, since the last episode. What happened in that game?
They beat West Shore Christian 68-45.
Yeah, so a big win for the varsity boys last Thursday at West Shore Christian, and they're going to have 2 games coming up here in the next week. What's the details on those games?
They play this Friday versus CVCS at home at 8 o'clock, and then Flames Frenzy, they play at 5 versus Southern Fulton.
Yeah, so
is that the last game? That's the last game.
For Flames Frenzy. Flames Frenzy, yep. They have the final game on Saturday, the game 7 of 7, and they play at 5 o'clock. And, when you have 7 games or 6 games ahead of you, the likelihood of it starting at 5, probably not the greatest, but
yeah.
It'll be sometime in that range.
I remember in years past it's like at 6.
Yeah, it usually gets behind schedule a little bit, but that's okay because it's such a fun atmosphere and an exciting day, and lots of
Flames Frenzy is awesome.
Lots of fans in the stands, lots of energy in the gym, and that's just a fun environment. And hope you can make it out to that. And come early on Saturday, our junior class is having a fundraiser, a pancake breakfast. So always such a good meal, good way to start the day with some pancakes, some eggs, some Steely's sausage. Yeah. That's always a good way to start.
Hopefully I can come to that.
Yeah, hopefully you can too. So, overall team's doing pretty well this season, so that's exciting to see. And for those varsity teams, they're currently qualifying for postseason play, so hopefully they can stay within those positions that they need to stay in to qualify for the postseason. So that'll be here before you know it, Jack. It's coming up here. We're almost to the end of January, and so by mid-February, those playoffs will be starting, and that's always an exciting part of the season, even though it's a little bittersweet because the season's coming to an end.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way it goes. Basketball season, even though it's a long season, it seems to go really fast. So
it does.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today. We recapped what's happening here at Shalom in the world of athletics. And just keep in mind, Flames Frenzy on Saturday, such a fun event. Come on out, eat some pancakes, watch some basketball. Such a fun day hanging out here in our Shalom gym, and we're looking forward to a great day. So anything else, Jack? College basketball?
College basketball?
Yeah.
Iowa State ranked 3. They were 2 last week, but they lost to West Virginia.
Yeah, but only fell 1 spot, so that's not too bad. So
you want to talk about North Carolina?
We do not want to talk about North Carolina.
Let's not talk about North Carolina.
Tough week, back-to-back 1-point losses. So, it is what it is. You have these seasons, and hopefully.
Yeah, it seems like they make the March Madness. They might be a 1 seed versus March Madness in the March Madness, but then they might not make it.
Yeah.
The next year.
So that's pretty tough, and that's happened before with them. Yeah. So but then we've always come back stronger. So that's what we're hoping, and saw they were eyeing up a top recruit in next year's class.
Who is it?
I can't remember the name, but he's one of the top recruits.
Okay.
And he seems pretty high on North Carolina, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
We got 2 freshmen that are playing pretty well, Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. So
how's
hopefully
doing?
Cadeau's doing pretty well. Had a triple-double, or not a triple, had a double-double the other night with points and assists. I think he had like 13 assists. So
wow.
He really can dish the ball. But
and RJ's been there a while.
He has been there a while, 5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But he's having a pretty good season. He started out a little slow. He's coming on here a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
But so we'll just have to cheer. I'll just have to cheer for Iowa State this year. So since that's your team, I'll cheer for them.
That'll make you feel a little bit better.
That's right. So. Well, thanks for coming in early. We're on a different day today, but thanks for coming in early, Jack. And we hope everybody out there enjoyed our episode today, and we're able to find out what's happening in the world of sports here at Shalom Christian Academy. And, that's a wrap. Anything else?
Nope.
All good?
Yep.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit the subscribe button. That will notify you of future content.